Hello guys, I am back from another video, and today we're talking about deku was a animatronic. So, in the last video deku, we showed off Izuku's daily life as an animatronic, which sounds like a light novel, which please don't make it because it will sound weird. But Izuku was looking around until we moved to a different perspective, being the perspective of Reiko and her friends that are basically looking around the entire amusement park, or at least the former beautiful slash a little bit cheap looking festival, and now looking around at its, you know, solid, depressing present self. Yeah, it was pretty ugly, and not only that, it looked horrifying. Several of the used to be rides looked terrifying, and it was not helping that Izuku, finding out about this, summoned out these creatures known as his friends, being these things, which are basically like the puppet if the puppet had spider like limbs and have multiple freaking eyes. So, after a while, these people, being the friends of Reiko, started getting ready to leave, but when they broke down the gate, let's just say Izuku was not happy, and basically started charging towards them and gets ready to kill them, but all of them escaped with their lives still intact. So, when they were brought to the police station, they were questioned, and when they talk about the so-called Fazer's Right Beast, one of the veterans, which was a victim of this, survived and showed off a scar. As when they talked about the description of the beast, let's just say the, well, victim of Izuku's attacks, or one of his attacks, decides to try and finish this once and for all. As in once and for all, I mean literally defeating him and making him submit to him. I mean, don't put that out of context, but he really wants to stop Izuku from literally killing everybody in this town, so he's decided to do that. So, when all of them started leaving, being Reiko's friends, Reiko wants to stay, and decides to go back to the creature's lair. So, yeah, that's basically what happened last episode, and so, let's talk about what happens next. So, we moved on to Izuku's spiritual form, and he was making this crazed face, completely angry about what happened. As Ezekiel was pretty much angry, Ezekiel just calms down and decides to just rest a little bit. So, Ezekiel just calms down and decides to get some rest. So, Ezekiel decides to go around all of the rides and decide to turn them on. Izuku uses his brand new abilities to start turning them all on. I meant on. When they were turned on, the noise from it can be heard all around the surrounding area, including a town near over. And this town was the hometown of where Izuku used to live. And his parents, well, let's just say his parents decided to leave and go to a different country. Let's just say Italy for now. So, because they left, let's just say the house was pretty well run down, and it's currently being used as a different home for another person, being Bakugo's parents and Bakugo himself. Because Bakugo's now living in the home of his so-called best friend, he still felt guilt, and it's not helping that he's living in his old home. He felt absolute sadness. But what the heck is that sound? Wait for a second. Sorry about that. So, well, Bakugo felt absolute sadness, but when they heard the carnival noises from the original Freddy Fazbear's Carnival, or at least the carnival where Izuku got murdered, he started remembering all those things that he said to Izuku many years ago. And when his parents basically heard that, they started moving and go to that place, including some other people, which when they saw the entire amusement park basically turned on, they were pretty shocked. So, one of them, being a man with a strength enhancement quirk, decides to break down the gate and tells everybody to basically start moving around because it would be fun to, have some fun here. Even though he's new here, he doesn't know the whole implications of that place, being that this is the actual site of where William Afton, aka the Purple Man, which is their interpretation or the name that he gave himself instead of Purple Guy. So yeah, this guy was a bit of an idiot. So everybody started moving around and decided to play all of these old carnival games, which they still have the prizes, but most of them are either moldy and dirty, and some actually stuck. Actually, some of them are actually pretty good, still intact and still in mid condition. Even still in the box, even though the box is pretty much filled with mold, and some have a wasp nest. Like one of them had a wasp nest nestled in there. So one of them had to carefully take out the actual toy and run away with it. So as everybody started playing in there, Izuku hears the noise. The reason why he turned it on is because it would give him fond memories, even though he remembers the day where he got killed, but mostly ignores that part. But when Izuku heard all of the noise from all of these people, well, Izuku looks over and sees most of them are adults. And let's just say Izuku was in a furious rage. Because remember, Izuku was killed by William Afton, aka an adult. So because Izuku is, pretty vengeful towards William Afton, aka an adult, let's just say he goes into this specific face, the one that looks enraged and crazed. So, when Izuku heard all of the noise, Izuku brings in all of his friends and tells all of them to kill them all. Some of the police arrived as they told everybody to get out of there, but before they can leave, they were attacked by these friends. All of these, or at least some of the adults, were killed by these creatures, mostly ignoring the children and the teenagers. As when the police saw them, they started shooting them down using their guns and some of their quirks. But when Izuku arrived, let's just say they were terrified. As Izuku opens up his, animatronic face, showing off the remains of himself, or at least his actual corpse, basically doing a whole William Afton thing or Springtrap thing, doing the whole ripping off his animatronic face, showing off the actual corpse of himself. So when they saw it, they were horrified as they started shooting at the monster, blowing off parts, but it doesn't do um jack crap. Let's just say that. So after getting his arm blown off, which is this arm, the one that looks like a bear's arm, Izuku just tanks the attack. But one of them had a freaking rocket launcher, apparently, and shoots Izuku and literally just kaput, explodes him. But after they did that, they think it was an absolute victory, as the veteran says this. Um, I think he's not dead. As one of them said this, what do you mean? As Izuku's parts start moving back together again, as they combine, as they bring back Izuku back to life. As Izuku, just using the speaker or the voice box says this. I'm really sorry about that, but I think you better run while you still can. Ezekiel's demonic voice comes out at that last part as everybody started running away, as the police officers start pelting everything that they can at Izuku. But most of it just destroys his, well, animatronic, furry, almost flammable clothing, and also its fur, showing off the endoskeleton, and showing off the actual corpse inside. It was pretty small, like this the entire head, right? The entire body of Izuku is in yeah, in the chest. So he was a pretty small child at the time. As when they saw the actual human body, they started, well, vomiting and started hurling, seeing the dead body. While Ezekiel was watching all of this, in his more spiritual state, Ezekiel decides to stop. And when he stopped, Ezekiel just tells everybody to leave before he can kill them. So, when Ezekiel closed the gates, Ezekiel goes back to the, well, parts and service room. So, wait for a second. So, after Izuku does that, let's just say the policemen were terrified as they started leaving. So, when Izuku came back to the parts and service room, Izuku needed to find more cloth and decides to use all of the rest of the cloth, mostly from other animatronic parts. Surprisingly, they're the same color as his original, right? Yeah. How, well, poetic, I guess. Not really poetic, more like so convenient, I meant. So, let's go into the perspective of a police officer, or should I say the police officer that's basically younger than everybody else, basically the rookie that saw that whole thing unfold. So, when they all came back, one of them being the rookie says this. So, literal monsters and ghosts are actually freaking real? As he says this, the veteran. Yeah, I told you that thing was real. As one of them said this, we should tell the heroes or something, or tell an exorcist or something. As he says this, maybe if they can believe us, says a guy who seems to be super disgruntled. As one of them being a somewhat younger police officer says this, I mean, yeah, who would ever believe us? It sounds like a stupid fairy tale. As one of them being a super famous officer, which actually has a friend in the in the top 10 heroes, says this. Maybe I could help. As he shows himself. As he says this. Maybe I can tell one of my friends, Richie's one of the number 10 heroes, I can help you. Okay? I'll just tell him and tell him to try and find a hero which, can talk to ghosts, I guess? As one of them said this. Really? You're friends with one of the number 10 heroes? Or the top 10 heroes? What a joke. As he says this. Hey, I'm not lying. As one of them said this. Sure. You can try, but I'm guessing that they're not going to believe your whole, oh, ghosts are real shit. As Izuku, not really Izuku, I meant, well, the veteran police I meant says this. You could try. I mean, it will be our last hope before that thing might kill everybody. As he says this, I'm on the case. So he salutes his, well, senior officer as he leaves and goes to that person's place. So, when he gets there, he goes to a bar as he meets up with his friend, which is one of the number 10 heroes. I meant the top 10 heroes. And that person is. As Kami Wood said this. And yes, it is Kami Woods. As Kami Wood said this. So, why did you decide to call me? As he says this. I need some help. As he says this. Why, sure. After all, I am your best friend back in, college. As he says this. Okay, it might sound weird, but I need you to help me find a hero that can actually help us defeat this monster. As he says this. Are you pulling my leg? As he says this. No, it's all true. There's a monster. And apparently it's some sort of child trapped in this animatronic body that also has the ability to call upon these spider puppet things. And apparently it's the soul of a child that was killed by William Afton, aka the Purple Man. As Kami Wood said this. Now I'm definitely knowing that you're actually just joking around. As he says this. No, it's all true. As he says this. Come on, I know a joke when it comes up. You're definitely lying. And besides, if there's actually a monster here, I could definitely defeat it. As he says this. But it's actually true. There's an actual monster with a animatronic body, and the inside of that mask. It was a human child's rotting corpse. As he says this. Whoa, 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 slow down, slow down. It actually sounds like a game. As he says this. I mean, yeah, but it's true. As he says this. Come on. If it's actually true, then where's the evidence? As he shows him a picture that he took during that attack. As he says this. Probably photoshopped. And please, if you're actually doing an elaborate prank, please don't do it on me. Maybe do it on somebody else that's more gullible. As he says this. But it's freaking true. As he says this. Alright, I could help you, but if it's actually a joke, then maybe next time, please do it better. I mean, your joke skills are pretty much abysmal. As he says this. It's fine. I need you to get some help, like maybe bring in some heroes, or at least heroes that are capable of defeating this thing. As he says this. Right, sure. I'll come with you too. If it's actually a joke, maybe I should bring in some fans. And maybe bring in some newscopters as well. Probably to see this whole unfold. If it's actually a joke, then I guess everybody should see it. As he says this. Good. So, see ya. As Kami Wood said this. Wait, but you didn't even drink. As he says this. I really didn't want to drink right now because... As he says this. Oh yeah, your whole like liver cancer thing. As he says this. Ugh, I hate drinking. As he leaves. So, let's go back to Izuku, shall we? So, Ezekiel was pretty much pissed off, let's just say that. And he's pretty much angry, saying, why did those people come here? Damn rotten adults. And Ezekiel did say a swear word, which was pretty surprising to him. As Ezekiel just says this, those rotten adults, they're gonna pay for what they did. He absolutely hates them. And Ezekiel wants to have some revenge. But still wants to have revenge first on William Afton. But before that, he hears news helicopters and hears several people as he hears the gates break open. Telling one of his friends to help him out, he tells one of them to go into one of the trees to look. So, when he looks, he sees several heroes and several people looking around, including some police officers. Most of them adults. So, when Coming Woods and the rest of these, unnamed heroes arrived, they mostly looked around and thought it was just some sort of prank, as he says this. Seriously? A stupid amusement park? And besides, that's supposedly the park where William Afton, aka the Purple Man, supposedly killed. Like seriously, are you trying to scare us? I mean, this place is supposedly a murder site and supposedly a haunted place, but to me it looks like a stupid, amusement park. As the guy says this, no, it's actually freaking true. Just tell my superior. As he says this, really, that old man? I'm guessing that he's probably going senile. As they hear the sound of clanking metal, sounding like knives smacking onto the floor, as they see these friends. As when they saw them, several of the people started recording, including some cameramen, including the news helicopters. Seeing so many of them, like an entire army. As one of them, being one of the unnamed heroes, says this. Nice prank. As he says this is not a prank. As they see Izuku clad in his brand new, clothing. Not really clothing, more like brand new, like animatronic suit. As he wields his serrated axe. As he says this, in this demonic voice. You run, adults. Die, die, die. As Ezekiel starts charging towards Kami Woods, as Kami Woods, was concerned, as he blocks it by creating a tree. But this tree was sliced in half by using Ezekiel's axe. As he says this, run adults, run adults. As he tells all of his, friends to kill the rest of the heroes. These unnamed heroes and police officers were slaughtered, as Kami Woods called in some backup. These backup were some other heroes. One of them was his girlfriend. Wait for a second. Mount Lady. As Mount Lady tries to crush Izuku, Izuku has immense strength for some reason. It's probably because of his hatred towards quote-unquote rotten adults. As Izuku just almost throws her away with just like one push. As one of the heroes, or at least news helicopters, was watching this, one of them being a hero with some sort of rocket launcher quirk, starts shooting at him. Shooting at Izuku's, face, destroying him instantly. As when they thought Izuku was defeated, surprise! Izuku always comes back. As Izuku just repairs himself, as Izuku shows off the dead kid self. Or should I say, his corpse. His corpse. As everybody sees the dead corpse of Izuku, they were terrified. As Izuku transforms into his more spiritual form, but nobody can see it, except for people that are not using cameras. Like, using cameras, nobody can see them. Like, nobody can see Izuku, but to the normal naked eye, they can see Izuku clearly. As they see Izuku in full display, saying this, "You tried to kill me. You heroes tried to kill me. Run, adults. Die, just die, just die." As several of his friends start charging towards the rest of the heroes and police officers as they started getting slaughtered, many of them piling up a mound of bodies. As Karen Woods tells everybody to run away, while he calls some other heroes. These are the heroes for the rest of the number, well, top 10 heroes, basically. As one of them being Hawk says this. Whoa, I never seen anything like this. Is this some sort of like quirk user or something? As All Might says this. You, over there, what are you? As Izuku just says this. Just saying, just die, just die, just die, just die, just die. As one of them being, wait for a second, Ruko starts transforming into a dragon and starts getting ready to fight Izuku one on one. Izuku nearly kills her in the process, literally grabbing her by her dragon head and says this. Run, adult. Die. Just die. Just die. As Izuku brings up his axe, and All Might using a Detroit Smash, which destroys almost a part of his body. As Izuku just grabs his arm and reattaches it. As Ezekiel transforms into a more spiritual state, and everybody sees the young boy. He looks 8, as Ryuko just says this. Wait, that was a kid? As he says this. Izuku, just die, just die, just die, just die, just die. As Ezekiel starts charging towards them, transforming into this more monstrous state, gaining sharp claws, which actually in the actual art that I made makes him look like he already has sharp claws, but still having that crazed, angry, almost devilish face, with his hair with his hair resembling horns, as Izuku grabs All Might by the neck, as he says this. Run, adult. You killed me. You killed me. As he says this. Young boy, what happened to you? As he says this. He killed me. Run, adult. As he says this. Wait a minute. You're... Are you Izuku Midoriya? As he says this. Why do you ask, you run, adult? As he says this. I've been trying to find you. As Izuku just lays him down. Just for a second. As he says this. Much better. As Izuku just says this. Speak. As he says this. Oh, right. I was a part of the case where you were actually killed, trying to find William Afton, aka the Purple Man. After you became this monster, this whatever you are, I've been trying to find you. And now finding you here, it's weird. Seeing you turned into this, as Ezekiel just says this, it's because rotten adults, they turned me into this monster. As Ezekiel starts scraping at his animatronic face. As All Might just says this. Young boy, please stop. Do not kill all of these innocent lives. They were innocent. As Ezekiel just says this. But they're wrong, adults. They deserve to die. As All Might says this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they are, but do not kill. That's not a hero's. As Ezekiel just says this. Say that again. As All Might just says this. Hero? As Ezekiel gets another memory. This memory is back when he was a kid. Back when he first discovered All Might. He was a big fan. And when Izuku came back from it, Izuku just says this. All Might? As All Might says this. Yes? Izuku well, spiritual self started feeling weird and goes back into the animatronic body as the animatronic body flops to the ground like a Golden Freddy thing. So, after that, everybody was confused and tired after fighting Izuku. So, they decided to bring Izuku to UA High to research. So, when they were brought, or at least Ezekiel was brought to the lab, where Mei Hatsume is currently trying to fix up some, well, her babies, one of them was a weird looking machine which was supposedly supposed to be used for regulating quirks. As for Principal Nezu, he's currently in the support class watching Mei Hatsume make it. As when they heard a knock at the door, they see All Might, as Principal Nezu says this. Ah, All Might, it's nice to meet you. Wait, what is that over there? As he says this. Oh, Mei Hatsume, I need you to work on this for now. But please, do not wake this thing up. As she says this. Ooh, spare parts. Wait a minute. Is that a robot? Or should I say an animatronic? That looks awesome. As he says this, yeah. I want you to do not touch anything on this. I want you to keep it over there and do not touch it or play with it or anything. Just leave it over there and do nothing with it. And all of these things over here, which one of them being a hero, which is Hawks, starts bringing in all of these friends of Izuku's. As she says this, whoa, they look like spiders. That looks cool. And maybe I should break all of these things down. As All Might says this, do not touch it. I don't want another disaster to happen again. And besides, because of your actions last time, I'm not letting you touch anything. As she says this. Fine. So, after bringing all of these things in, he tells Mei Hatsumi to just to do whatever she wants, except for touching both of these things. So, after they left, Mei Hatsume was all alone with Izuku's animatronic self, and Izuku is still inside of his animatronic self, just currently sleeping. So, yeah, that's basically what happened last episode. Not really last episode, I meant this episode. So, yeah, this will be the end of the episode. So, I hope you liked the video, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!